What's going on YouTube? JT is Reborn here, and welcome back to another edition of my DC comic book reviews. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about Are You Afraid of Darkseid, issue number 1. This is just a one-shot anthology comic book, and basically the story of this one, or I should say the stories, is the Teen Titans, Damian's former team, mind you, I guess current team? I don't know what's going on with this thing, because it references continuity, but the only difference is Jin isn't there. Instead, we have Aqualad, which to me is a big improvement. And the sad thing is, this is the best they've ever been written as a unit. In fact, they feel like friends. Where was this writing in the other main Titans book when Under the Glass Thompson book? Like I never felt that they were friends or that they liked each other. Here, I get the sense that they're just kind of friends telling a fun little ghost story around the campfire. It reminds me of Are You Afraid of the Dark? Obviously, that's kind of what the title is a play on. Darkseid is there on the cover, but he's really only in one story. But yeah, so this is the Halloween anthology book. DC likes to do this for different holidays. They have like the Valentine's Day special, like the holiday special. They just have a variety of these anthology books, and I usually get them because there's just a lot of different stories I can kind of have fun looking through and reading. Not every story is going to work, but for the most part, there's usually some sort of framing device around them, or they're just kind of the stories just being told like that. They're harmless fun. Not sure if they're in canon or not in canon because they do reference canon in this thing, but it's still something worth checking out if you're a fan of Halloween stories and stuff. So the first one we have is the Teen Titans Are You Afraid of Darkseid? That's written by Elliot Callan. That's the one. That's kind of the framing device for the rest of it. That's the Afraid of the Dark thing. If you ever watched the Nickelodeon show, that's basically the Teen Titans just telling camp stories around the campfire, and that's just kind of laid throughout like the entire comic book. And that to me was the one I was most looking forward to reading. We have Harley Quinn and Darkseid in Bloody Mary. That one's by Kenny Porter. We have Batman and Mad Hatter in Backseat Killer. Then you have John Stewart in Escape from the Dark Fortress by David Wielgus. The Batman Mad Hatter one's written by Calvin Kasulke. I'm terrible with names, by the way, Kenny Porter. Then you have The Phantom Stranger in The Endless Staircase, Colleen Kelly and Jackson Lansing writers. The credits are right there, so if you want to kind of read them along with me. Aquaman and Aqualad in The Ogopogo by Ed Brisson. Wonder Woman and Vixen in Black Eyed Kids. And then Superman and Lois Lane in The Cellar by Jeremy Hahn, cover by Dan Hipp. So, yes, I guess I'll quickly summarize things. I mean, this thing is 80 pages, so I'm not going to go through, like, full details of all these stories, because I think one of them are pretty much just going to be one-shots. Not sure if any of the story elements will be picked up in later comic books, but I think it's worth checking out. So yeah, basically the framing device is the Teen Titans decide to go camping. You have Damian there, and he's getting really excited. He's written kind of like a bit where he's just kind of having fun. Emiko's having fun there. Crush is there, kind of making references. There's a bit of humor and jokes in here, and a lot of the characters who normally I kind of find insufferable, like Roundhouse, are actually not half bad here. Same with Crush. I don't know what it is, but the writing made him actually feel like friends just going around telling campfire stories, and there's something very relatable and something that just kind of connects with me. I always love those types of things. I mean, I've sometimes told scary stories around the campfire before too. I love Halloween. Halloween is my favorite time of year. October is my favorite month. So this all kind of speaks to me. The stories themselves, they try and pass them off as scary. None of these stories are actually scary in the slightest, and that's kind of a disappointing thing with the overall issue. The first one is the Bloody Mary one. We have Harley Quinn meeting up with a bunch of kids, and they come face to face with Darkseid coming across one of his Furies, known as Bloody Mary. It kind of sets up going into maybe appearing in some sort of Flash book because of Mirror Master and how to connect there. I won't give away the whole thing. So Emiko told that story there. Damian tells a story about Batman, of course, and there's even kind of a funny bit right there where Damian's just like, I can't believe some of Emiko, solid 7 out of 10, but any truly scary story must feature the most fearsome prowler of the night. Oh, don't you say you're dead, don't you say you're dead, don't you say you're dead. The Batman, so predictable, and I think like just the way he kind of hypes up about his dad, it's like, yeah, Batman. It definitely contradicts where he's currently at in the main timeline, but maybe this is a preview of things to come because Jackson was never a part of that previous team, but they do make reference to things. They talk about like how the thing that's going to break him apart is camping. I don't know what this is. It almost feels like kind of an Elseworld story, But you know what? Maybe this will be the team later on. You know what? I'd be okay with it. I like having Aqualad in there, but he's becoming Aquaman. I don't know what's going on with this thing, but you know what? It's better than any of the Teen Titans stuff when they were a team in the Glass Thompson book. So I wish this was more of what the team was like. It can actually feel like they're friends. But the second one is Batman and the Mad Hatter. This was colors by Luis Carrozza and all that. It was a fun little one, like Batman facing off Mad Hatter, like some spooky revelations there. Some definitely something that reminds me a bit of like a Large Marge and like Pee Wee's Big Adventure. I'm not gonna give away the whole thing. So Damian tells that story. Then Crush tells the story of John Stewart and some sort of like giant fortress thing that like he's able to kind of salvage through it. So that one's quite interesting. I'll kind of skim through that. There's this one that Wallace tells about this whole endless staircase thing with the Phantom Stranger. That one's kind of the most out there and abstract one out of all of them. Like the other ones were quite easy to follow. I don't really know much about the Phantom Stranger. So, but if you're a Phantom Stranger fan, I'm sure you'll probably enjoy it. But for me, this one it didn't really connect with me, probably because I'm not really familiar with the character itself. But it is quite interesting. The other story after that is Aqualad is going to tell something about the Ogopogo. This one features him, and this one actually, I'm like, oh wow, somebody actually wrote a story about Ogopogo, which is something I'm actually quite familiar with because I always had this thing I like to research about like cryptids and stuff. When I was younger, I have some books on them too, like Mysteries of the Unexplained, and they'd always kind of talk about like things like Loch Ness Monster, Bigfoot. The Ogopogo was one I was familiar with. I'm like, wow, somebody actually wrote a story about this thing, and so out of all the stories, this is the one I actually enjoyed the most. There's some funny moments with Aquaman talking to Aqualad. He makes a reference to Mayor Larry Vaughn, and anytime you can make a funny Jaws reference like that, I'll need you to talk to local law enforcement and tell them to keep the beaches closed. Let's hope that the mayor here doesn't pull a Jaws on us. Aqualad has no idea what that is. In Jaws, and the mayor refuses to shut down the beaches even though there's a shark on the loose. You've never seen Jaws, and yeah, the fact that Aqualad has never seen Jaws is the most tragic thing about it. And ultimately, he never actually watches the movie, but hopefully one day he does get the chance to see it. So I thought that one was kind of fun. It was a few pages there, and it was nice to have a story about a cryptid in there that I'm quite familiar with. So afterwards, Emiko takes the basically the flashlight to tell another story, basically because Roundhouse wasn't, and she was actually excited. She's like, I want to take it, and then her and Damian kind of get into a fun little argument about like when are you allowed to tell two stories? It's like I'm taking this one. Roundhouse initially passes on telling a story. Then she tells a story about these black-eyed kids with Vixen and Wonder Woman, about these kids who were kind of possessed and stuff going on with that. So that one has some interesting looking artwork, and it was kind of went in a bit of a strange direction. Nothing quite scary though, but this one feels like the closest to like what's something horror related would be in terms of that. So there's some stuff going on there. I think it's okay. Then the final story is one told by Roundhouse, who was really hesitant to say anything beforehand, and it's about the cellar. It's with Superman and Lois Lane trying to go investigate the disappearance of some missing kids, and then there's some sort of nightmarish creature right there sucking the life out of Superman because, again, something supernatural, magic related. Definitely a weakness of Superman. I like the fact that Lois comes in here and is utilized quite well by like helping Superman to rescue some of these kids. It's short, but it makes Lois out to be more of a badass, and anytime we can get that is good by me. So yeah, and there's kind of hints that maybe more horrifying things are to come. So and that's pretty much that. Everyone's kind of enjoying their whole wrap up of the whole Campfire Tales thing, and Damian talks about how Campion has saved the Teen Titans, and he refers to them all as more than just teammates. We are friends, and you know what? And there's nothing we can't handle, right? Well, I mean, technically, you guys did break up, but I don't know if this is going to reference that. But you know what? In another reality, this would be the team. And I kind of like that. It kind of ends on an ambiguous note. You don't know what's going to happen to them. Are they going to get mauled by whatever the hell that thing is, or are they not? So, yeah, that was like 90 pages, so I had to quickly kind of like run through and skim it all. I don't really have time to kind of want to sit through every single story for a really long time because I don't think it's quite necessary. It's an anthology thing, and I think if you get the chance, you should probably read and check it out on your own will. But Are You Afraid of the Dark Side? I had fun reading it. Like I said, I like a lot of anthology books. Some of the stories don't always work, and nothing in this book is truly amazing. But I think the best thing about it for me was seeing that Damian's former team, with Aqualad now included, erasing Jin, which is fine with me because she was definitely one of the more characters that I had issues with throughout that book. And I also took issues with the fact that Aqualad just was never referenced again. Like we never really saw like why he would leave the team because I always felt like in the Percy run that Damian got along with Aqualad quite well. So why he wouldn't be included on the newer team is beyond me. So it was nice to kind of see them just kind of being friends, and that's the kind of sad thing of it all is they're written better in this little anthology book as a team than they were in the entirety of 20 plus issues between the Glass and Thompson thing. So that's a plus. At least I got to see them act a bit as friends. Maybe this is a preview for things to come. In which case, if they're more like this, then sure, it should be kind of. Although Damien's suit looks a lot like his older suit, so it's definitely not reflecting his newer one. So maybe this is just on Earth 2 or something, kind of, or just an alternative timeline where they actually were friends and they didn't have the whole team breakup or anything like that. I'm not sure why they chose this team, but you know what? I'll take it. I'll take something. This is the best story with that group in it, so kudos to that. So yeah, that's all I really have to say of Are You Afraid of Darkseid? Number one, did you get the chance to read this thing? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section down below. Be sure to like this video, share with your friends, subscribe to the YouTube channel for more content, and hit that bell for notifications. Be sure to come back later, as I got a few more comic book reviews coming out. I got the new Batman issue, and I got the Conjuring one coming up. But I was just wanting to get this one out there first since it's the longest, and I just want to have it all taken care of. So, all right, well, that's all I got to say. As always, take care now. Bye-bye then, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.